Welcome back to Miss Corporal's Social Studies class. After we did our little introduction in the common House of Representatives, but in a classroom, we will now learn a little bit about the legislative process and how a bill becomes a law. We've been learning in our last couple lessons about the three branches of government. This is part of all branches of government and includes how we as a nation implement a law. The objectives for this lesson is that you as a student will discover and become familiar with the process on how a bill becomes a law. At the end of our lesson, you will have a project to complete where you can choose one of two possible projects. In today's lesson, you will be able to describe who can write a bill, list 4 steps in the process of how a bill becomes a law, and explain how checks and balances are part of the process for a bill. Here we see an infographic in bright colors on the House of Representatives versus the Senate. Here, as just a little brief overview, you can see how a bill can start in either house and how it must pass through both chambers before it gets to the president. We are going to be going through this process today and looking at how a bill can be signed and it becomes a law. You can pause this at any time to be able to look through more of the information on the slides while I am speaking. So how does a bill start? Well, anyone can have the idea. Maybe you think that there should be a bill to implement better schools or something to do with the congressional system itself. This idea can come from anywhere or anyone. It starts with a citizen just like you. The idea can come from anyone who has a proposal on how to change law and make the nation better. As we're going through these slides, I want you as the student to think about ways that you want to improve the government or an idea for a bill that you would have. Once the citizen writes down the idea that they have, they bring it to a sponsor. A sponsor can be somebody affiliated with the House of Representatives or the Senate, most likely your representative or senator. Once the senator or the representative introduces the bill in the Senate or House, they will be able to bring it to the attention of a committee. Here, you are welcome to click on the video of Representative John Delaney from Maryland as he proposes the idea for a bill in the House of Representatives. And a Rules Committee would check the bill to make sure that everything was refined and well worded to be able to put on the floor for a vote. It is placed on the calendar so everyone knows, all right, this bill is up for the vote. Make sure that you look at it, talk to your people about it, make sure you're making wise decisions. It can go up for debate. People can argue for or against, and we'll talk a little bit about that in mock Congress. Cloture actually occurs where the debate is not limited. So if you have a cloture, you would be able to limit the debate. Senators, until a cloture is invoked, they can filibuster. So they can pretty much speak about anything in order to make sure this bill does not go up to vote. If it goes up for a vote, it is sent to the chamber, and people put in a unanimous vote or anonymous vote, and it's able to pass or not pass. If it passes, it will then go to the other house. So if it's in the Senate, it would go to the House of Representatives, and if it's in the House of Representatives, it would then go to the Senate. Once it passes both, the written version of the bill will be sent to a conference committee where it is pretty much reported on to send to the president. The conference committee reaches a compromise if that needs to happen in between the two, and the bill is sent to the president for the review. So here's a good little infographic of things in between the Senate and the House and how that kind of looks as an actual building. So in the House, the votes are actually public and not secret. The votes are usually taken electronically, and you can see how the buttons are given here on the picture. Once the bill reaches a president, the president can do several things with it. The bill becomes a law if it is signed by the president, or if it is not signed within 10 days and the Congress is in session. So if he just let it sit on his desk for 10 days and the Congress is in session, it's automatically approved. If the Congress is not in session and the president still has not signed the bill, it is a pocket veto, which means the bill dies. And it can then go back to the House and the Senate. If the president vetoes the bill, it is sent back to Congress with a note listing his or her reasons. The chamber that originated the legislation can attempt to override the vote by a vote of 2/3 of those present. If the veto on the bill is overridden in both chambers, it becomes law. So here we go. We have just a funny little picture of a bill becoming a law as signed by the president. So here again is a great example of how the bill becomes a law. You can use this great infographic when you potentially make a board game to be able to describe this process. It's not very easy for a bill to become a law, and there are lots of rules and lots of steps along the way. It often takes a long time, and that is why it would be an interesting board game to make. So for our class project, you can either create a board game on how a bill becomes a law, and you will see the class notes listed on our Google Classroom, or you'll write your own bill and present it to class. These will also be on Google Classroom. So maybe you had an idea while you were listening to this, this would be a great bill to propose. Well, this is your chance to write it. And that can be used again for your mock Congress that we will be doing in about 3 days or next week. So thank you for watching this video. Feel free to watch it again so you're ready to discuss this when we start class.